Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Garavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha. Today we are doing Chhandogya Upanishad, 13th section, Trayodasha Khanda. One starts wondering, how did we reach 13th section? By 13th section, everything should be understood. But one doesn't understand, therefore it has to be repeated again and again and again. If at all there is anything worth repetition, it is only Brahma Vidyaji. Otherwise, there is no use of repeating the same pleasure. The same non-eternity, there is no need. But you repeatedly think to understand the eternal. There is no use of repeatedly enjoying the same pleasure again and again and again. You have it and it becomes non-eternal. You have it again, it's non-eternal. Again you miss it, again you miss it, again you have it, again it is non-eternal. And therefore, repetition, abhyasa, in fact, if there is anything worth having abhyasa for, if there is anything worth repeating, it is only looking at your existence. Repeatedly look at your existence again and again. You can't doubt your existence. You can't doubt your being conscious. And you can't doubt also your being unlimited, non-dual. I am not saying that your existence is evident, your being conscious is evident, but your being unlimited is not evident, is wrong. It is absolutely stupid. But your being there is evident, your being conscious is evident, and being consciousness is also all comprehensive, is also evident. You have to see it. It is evident, but it's not understood. That's a different thing. And that is going to be the topic in this particular 13th section. What is not sense evident need not be unevident. What is not evident to the eyes need not be unevident to the ears. The sound is not evident to the eyes, but it is evident to the ears. Similarly, the taste is not evident to the sense of taste, but it is not evident to the form. And these five perceptions really, they don't qualify each other. But every object can be divided into only five perceptions. This is what is the Vedantic way of dividing. The world is divisible, meaning what? There is a form, there is a sound, there is a taste, there is touch, there is smell. Every object can be divided into five perceptions. Whereas scientists think of the division in a different manner. They split the particle, and then that the dividing the matter, the idea of dividing the matter is different for the scientists. The idea of dividing is different for the sages. The sages divide the universe in terms of form, sight, sound, taste, touch, smell. When all the five perceptions are there, that is called an object. Prithvi has five perceptions, water has fourfold perceptibility, the fire has threefold perceptibility, air has twofold perceptibility, and space has only one perceptibility. Whereas the one who sees all the perceptions is non-perceptible. You are being there. When the object is sense evident, the subject, the one who sees also is evident. He is self-evident. He is not sense evident. It's self-evident. Just because you see yourself as a body, that doesn't mean you are seeable. You are present. You are not objectifiable. Consciousness is present, but it's not objectifiable. Its nature is, it is free from The form, it is unlike the form. That is what is called freedom. It is unlike the form, unlike the breath, unlike the mind. That means it is free from all of them. That is its nature. Samadhi is not to be understood as something to be done by man. Samadhi, here Vedanta doesn't talk about samadhi. Samadhi means, you avoid all the thoughts and be quiet. That is samadhi. But here, you don't have to avoid any thought. Despite the thought, you understand that you are being unqualified by the thought. You are free from the thought. Despite the thought, you are free from the thought. Despite the wave, the water is free from the wave. That is the Vedanta. Vedanta talks only about the nature of the self. So now, today we are going to see what is not evident for one sense organ need not be unevident to another sense organ. That is said here. Lavanam Budake. Now this Uddalaka calls his son Swetaketu. My dear Swetaketu, Lavanam This is a salt. This is a lump of salt. Etat Udake Avadhaya. Put it in water, in a pot of water. Atha, then Prataha Upasidataha. And in the morning you come to me. Maybe he said it in the evening. In the evening class, he said it, put a salt in a pot of water, and then tomorrow morning you bring it to me. Upasedataha iti. Saha tatha chakara. Then the Swetaketu did the same thing. Tatha means as he was instructed, he did it. Chakara, he did it. Tagamuho vacha. And to Swetaketu, Uddalaka said, Hey Swetaketu, yad dosha lavanam udake avadhaha. The salt that you put last evening, yad dosha means evening, shamko. That is called dosha, pradosha. We have the pradosha puja. Pradosha puja is evening you do the puja. That is pradosha puja. Prataha means in the morning. Lavanam udake avadha. Last evening you put salt in a pot of water. Angatadahara. That please bring that salt to me. Iti. Tadha avamrishya. Tadha avamrishya. Na viveda. But he saw no salt. The salt has already dissolved itself in water. He didn't see it. This is what I wanted to say. That what is not seeable need not be untastable. It is not seeable, but it is tastable. It's not seeable, but it is smellable. Fragrance you may not see the smell, but you can smell it. The sound you may not be able to see, but you can hear it. In the same manner, well, that is the subject, the one who sees everything, may not be able to be seen, heard, tasted, touched, smelt. It may not be available for sense perception, but it is self-evident. It is not sense-evident, it is self-evident. Self-evident means the one who sees all the perceptions. He sees the form, he sees the sound, he sees the taste, touch, smell, memory, pleasure, pain. The entire samsara he sees. He thinks it is his objective. That is what makes him suffer. It is my objectivity. But he doesn't know that he is a pure conscious being. As a pure, solely conscious being. He is a solely conscious being. Solely. That solely you have to remember me. Remember my words. Solely conscious being. His physicality is an upadhi. His physiologicality is upadhi. His psychology is only a upadhi. Thought is an upadhi. Perception is an upadhi. Breath is an upadhi. He thinks when the breath is gone, I am gone. When the thought is gone, I am gone. When the memory is gone, I am gone. When the breath is gone, I am gone. When the body is gone, I am gone. In this manner, he thinks, he equates his existence with the form, etc. And then he thinks that he is not there when the body is not there. That's not true. He is unobjectifiable. When the body is there, also he is unobjectifiable. When the body is not there, also he is unobjectifiable. In the waking state, he is unobjectifiable. In the dream, he is unobjectifiable. Dream is objectifiable, but the one who sees the dream is unobjectifiable. The waking is objectifiable, but the one who is aware of the waking is unobjectifiable. The sleep, as absence of both, is objectifiable, but the one who objectifies is unobjectifiable. And therefore, the subject is unobjectifiable in all the three states. And therefore, that he is not sense evident, he is not objectified. Just because we always, humanity always thinks what is sense, what is not objectifiable through the senses is non-existent. I say what is unobjectifiable through the senses, how can it be non-existent? You cannot be non-existent. You are not sense objectifiable. You cannot be seen. The consciousness, when somebody sees you, he sees only your form, the form that you see, the form that you see. You see your form and his form. He sees his form and your form. He can objectify his thoughts and he can objectify your thoughts. Whatever you can objectify, that alone the other people also can objectify. Objectifiability is universality. Whatever one can objectify, the same thing can others objectify. And therefore, but the truth cannot be objectified by anybody. You cannot objectify yourself. Nobody can objectify your presence, because he is being your presence. Your presence and the other's presence is one and the same. There is no difference. Your form that is objectifiable and his form that is objectifiable, both are sense evident. Whereas your existence and his existence are one and the same. That is why you minus the form and the other person minus the form is the same being, is the same truth. Because there is no other way of, you cannot prove it otherwise, please. Because the divisions are only through the form that is divided. Forms are divided when you identify with the form. When you identify with the form, the divisions are also become true. When you identify with the form, then you identify with the divisions. The only gateway through which you can divide yourself is through the form. You identify with the form, then you think that you are divisible. You are not divisible. You think there are so many conscious beings. There are not so many conscious, there are so many forms, there are so many breaths, there are so many thoughts, there are so many minds, there are so many ways of thinking, but there is only one consciousness. Because consciousness cannot be objectified. You are being consciousness. The same unlimited consciousness identifies with this form, identifies with the other form, identifies with the third form, identifies with the countless forms. But the forms are upadhis, but the forms do not qualify consciousness. Consciousness is one and the same. Therefore, Vedanta doesn't talk about samadhi, please. Vedanta talks about the nature. The nature is, whether you know it or not, the nature remains the same. Like whether you take it as non-eternal or not, the body remains non-eternal. Therefore, the factuality of a fact is independent of how you see it. Whether you see it as it is, whether you know it, whether you see it rope, whether you see the rope as rope or otherwise, it remains the rope. Whether you see the earth as round or otherwise, it remains round. The factuality remains untainted by your thought. This is Vedanta ji. Vedanta is important to understand. The factuality is independent of your thinking. If you think about the factuality rightly or wrongly or any way, it remains untouched by your thinking. The fact is untainted by your thought. And the whole universe is only a thought. The fact is yourself. The entire creation is only a perception. It's a distorted. This is how I see. I am seeing the formless as the form. I am seeing the formless as the form. But even when I see myself as the form, I continue to be the formless. I may continue to be I may continue to see myself as a thinker of the thought, but in fact, my existence continues to be consciousness as a non-thinker. I continue to feel I am a form, I'm a thinker, I'm a rememberer, I'm a subject to pleasure and pain, etc. I may continue to think that I am a sansari, but the truth is I continue to be free from samsara. The factuality doesn't change irrespective of how I think of it. And therefore here Bhagavan says, hey Swetaketu, please bring, last evening you put some salt, and that salt you please bring it to me. Yatha vilenameva anga asya antadachamaiti. Hey Swetaketu, even though he vimrishya means avamrishya, means even though he thinks of, he looks for the salt, he doesn't see the salt. It's already dissolved. Then the Uddalaka says, Yatha vilenameva angasya anga. Vilenameva asya. Hey anga. Hey Swetaketu. Hey anga means, hey Swetaketu, please. Asya antad achamaiti. Please taste it, sip it from the bottom of the water. From the bottom, from the below the water. Achama. Achama means just sip it. And after he sips it, and then the father asks the question, Kathamiti, how do you find it? Lavanamiti, he says it is saline, it is salty. Madhyadachamaiti, all right, now you sip it from, take a sip of water from the middle of the pot. Madhyadachamaiti, Kathamiti, how do you find it? Lavanamiti, I find it is saline, it is salty. Antadachamaiti, you sip it from the surface. Iti, kathamiti, how do you find it? Lavanamiti, I find it saline. That means the whole water is saline. That means whatever you don't see, the lavanam you don't see it, but it is available for taste. But the form is, as a form, it is available for perception, but it has taste. It's not available for sight. It is only available for other sense organ. Therefore, what is available for one sense organ need not be available for another sense organ. What is not available for one sense organ need not be unavailable for another sense organ. It may be available for another sense. What is not available for one sense organ may be available for another sense organ. The form is available only for eyes. The colors are available only for the eyes. The sounds are available only for the ears. The taste is available only for the sense of taste. Touch is available only for the touch. The smell is available only for the smell, the sense of smell. But what is not available for any, just as what is not available, just as, remember, example now, just as what is not available for one sense organ can be available for another sense organ, need not be unavailable for another sense organ. Just as the lavanam, the visibility of it is available for the eyes, but the taste of it is available only for the sense of taste. In the same manner, just as so, in the same manner, the satyam, the sat, the source of everything, may not be available, may not be sense-evident, but it is available as self-evident. What is not sense-evident is available for being self-evident. Kathamiti lavanamiti. Abhiprasya. Throw it away. Atha mam upasidataha. Throw it away and then come to me. The father tells the son, throw the water away and then come to me. Upasidataha iti tad tatha chakara. And the Swetaketu did the same thing. Tat chasvat samvartate. See, this salt was all the time there only. Shashvat means always. Samvartate. It was always there. It is always there. It is always there in the water. But you don't see it because the visibility is different from tastability. The same salt may have visibility. As crystals, they may be visible, but as the taste, it's not visible for the eyes. In the same manner, consciousness is not available for any sense organ, but still it is there. Tagam ho vacha. Uddalaka tells Swetaketu, he vocha, atra vavakila sat saumya na nibhalayase. Just as the lavanam was always there in the water, in the same manner, the sat, your being, is always here. It is never absent. It is always present. It's to be always present is what is called sat. Sat means to be. Saumya, na nibhalayase. It is always there. Atraiva samvartate. Here only it remains. Here only it remains. The Sat only remains all the time here only. Means it is ever present. It is not located in space. The space is located in it. It's not located in time. The time is located in it. It's not located in the form. The form is located in it. Just as the water is not located in the wave. The wave is located in water. This intelligence you must have to understand this particular point. What is located where? Truth is not located in time, space, and form and thought. It's not located in thought. It's not located in form. It's not located in time. It's not located in space. It's not located in the prapancha. Prapancha is located in the truth. Na nibhalayase. You don't see it. You don't understand it. But even if you don't understand it, the factuality of the fact doesn't change. It remains the same. Even if you think, I was a thing of the past, I will be a thing of the future, etc. Even though you locate your existence in the time, but the fact is you are timeless. The timelessness of your being is, you are aware of the past, you are aware of the future, you are aware of the present time as imagined by you. But as the one who is aware of all the three periods of time, you are timeless. Time is unqualified by you. Time doesn't qualify you. Time doesn't qualify you. You are unqualified by time. And therefore you are not located in time. You are not located in space. You are not located in thought. Just as water is not located in the wave, G. It looks as though it is located in the wave. But it is not located in the wave. It is not located in the form. The form is located in the substance, please. This intelligence you must have to understand this. That is called viveka. That is, consciousness is not located in any form. Form is located in consciousness. And therefore, in the same manner, when you are in the waking state, you are being conscious. In the dream, don't say, I will be conscious. In the dream, your experience tells you are being conscious. In the deep sleep state also, you are being conscious. You never become a thing of the past. You never become a thing of the future. Because the past and the future both are objects of your awareness. And the awareness is unqualified by past, unqualified by future. It is ever present. To be is your nature. To be tranquil is your nature, please. Tranquility is your nature. To be and to be tranquil and to be peaceful and to be silent are all synonymous, Ji, in absolute terms. To be peaceful, to be full, to be nirvisesham, to be complete, to be tranquil, all mean the same thing. There are different words for the same thing. Nobody can prove it otherwise. You can't say tranquility is a thought. No, tranquility is considered a thought, but tranquility is your being. Silence is not a thought, silence is your being. And therefore, Bhagavan says that don't look upon your existence as located. Your body is located on the earth. The earth is located maybe in the space. The space is again located in the truth. If you say it's located in the thought is located in consciousness. Consciousness is not located, please. Consciousness is not located. Everything becomes located in consciousness. Consciousness is not located. Consciousness is, that is the truth. If consciousness is located in something, then that location would be more greater truth than the consciousness. And therefore, consciousness is not located in anything. It is not supported by anything. In consciousness, everything is located. The Bhagavan also is not located in the creation. Is not located in any space. But whereas humanity always thinks God is located in somewhere in space. No, no. God is not an individual. God is the actuality of every individual. Truth is the actuality of every individual. Every individual. And God is not another huge individual. Hugeness also is a size, see. Whereas God is not an individual. He doesn't have a size. He is only peaceful presence. He is a presence. He is not an individual. Atraiva kilayati, Nibalaya say Atraiva kilayati. The truth is always here only. It is not, it is here means it is not located in space. See, here means it is a here that cannot become there. Any spatial location is it can be here from a distance, from a closeness, and it becomes there from a distance. The spatial location is relative. It is absolute atraji. Absolute atra means it's here, not subject to become there. Truth can never be there. Truth is always here. Here means you are being it. You are being the truth. That is here. The here is only your being. And it is the here which is not subject to become there. Whereas a spatial point can become here as well as there. Any here that is subject to become here and there, then that is relative. But if there has to be absolute here, then it is only your being, your presence. Even the thought can be here and there also. This thought and that thought, etc. But consciousness, your presence can never be there. It can never be there. It is always here. It is intimate. It can never cease to be intimate. And therefore, it is said, Sat is something, just as water is, just as the salt is ever in water, but you don't see it by the form, by the sight, by the eyes, through the eyes, but you can always feel it, the sense of taste. In the same manner, what is not evident for one sense organ can be evident to another sense organ. If it is evident, in fact, it is always said, for one sense organ, there are no two evident. The same eyes, you can't be form as well as the sound cannot be evident. The sound has its own sense organ, form has its objectifies, has own sense organ, taste has its own sense organ, smell has its own sense organ, touch has its own sense organ. But all of them can be called sense evident. The entire prapancha is sense evident. Wherever you objectify, it has to be only form, sound, taste, touch, and smell. But even if you have a sixth sense organ, supposing you become a devata and you have a sixth sense organ, that is also the object of the sixth sense organ, also is objectifiable. Objectifiability is common. Whether it is objectifiable, either form is objectifiable, or sound is objectifiable, or the taste is objectifiable, or touch is objectifiable, or smell is objectifiable, pleasure is objectifiable, pain is objectifiable. All of them are objectifiable. Objectifiability is common to all the objects, and that is called anatma. Objectifiability is common to all the objects. In that sense, you have to understand also when Bhagavan says, Sukha dukkhe same kritva labha labha java jaya jaya, and he says, convert, may look upon the sukham and dukkham as one and the same, means what? Both are objectifiable, both are non-eternal, and both I cannot call them. I cannot be the author of the sukha. The sukham visits me, dukkham visits me. I cannot author the, if I can author the sukha and dukkha, I can always author the sukha and not the dukkha. But that is not there. Sometimes sukham visits me, sometimes dukkha visits me. Sometimes success visits me, sometimes failure visits me. And therefore, I can't author them. That is what is called. Both of them are equally objectifiable, both of them are equally non-eternal, both are equally unauthored by me. Both are equally unauthored by me. Anatma is not authored by me. I find myself with the anatma. That is a different thing. But I don't author it. That is what is but sukha dukkhe same krutva. Labha labha jaya jaya. Success and failure also. I find myself successful and failure. I find myself gain with gain and loss. I can't author the gain. I can't author the loss. Sometimes the gain visits me. Sometimes the loss visits me. But this is the what is commonality is that I don't author them is commonality. Another commonality is all of them are equally objectifiable. All of them are equally non-eternal, are equally anatma. And that is samekritva. That is what is meant by look upon them as the same, understand them as the same. There is no difference between sukha and dukkha. And their sukham and dukkham both are located in consciousness. Consciousness is not located in sukham and dukkham. This is what is said. And therefore, that which is not located in space, not located in time, not located in the universe, whereas the universe is located in it. It's a very big topic, Ji. It's a huge topic. And that topic is the topic of the Vedanta. You are the topic of Vedanta. You as form free. You as breath free. Because you can transcend your breath also, Ji. In the deep sleep state, you are not aware of your breath also. When you wake up, you are aware of the breath. But you transcend the breath in the deep sleep state. You transcend the form. You transcend the thought. You transcend the pleasure and pain. You transcend the whole creation. You transcend time. What is, if you can transcend everything, if you can transcend thought, you can transcend also breath. Breath also is that I am a breather. Is a kind of a kosha. I am a form. I am a breather. I am a thinker. I am an understander. I am a searcher. This is all koshas. Yes, these thinkings are koshas. A given thinking, a wrong thinking about the truth is called koshaji. A wrong thinking about the kosha, about the truth is called kosha. And therefore here he says, this truth, which is not located in anything, your existence is not located in this body, Ji. The body is located in the consciousness because you are aware of the body, and therefore the body is within awareness. Therefore, it is located, it is made of awareness. It is made of you. You are not made of the body is made of you. You are not made of the thought, you are not made at all. You are being there, eternally you are being present. Thought is made of the eternal. The non-eternal is made of the eternal. If the non-eternal is parallel to the eternal, then the eternal ceases to be eternal. This becomes non-eternal because there is a place where there is no eternal. Therefore, the eternal is something that is the material for all the non-eternal. The changeless is the material for the change. The silent is the material for the silence, is the material for the noise. Yes, the contrast. The material for the truth is the contrast. The material for the universe is the contrast, that is silence. The silence is the material. The silent self is the material for the noise. The silent, the tranquil self is the material for the noise. The conscious self is the material for the inert, and the timeless self is the material for time. In this manner, saha yaha yeshaha anima, and this unlocated being is not located anywhere, is indeed very subtle. Saha yeshaha anima. This is very subtle, unobjectifiable. And you think the unobjectifiable also you try to objectify. No, your being is. Don't objectify the unobjectifiability, please. Don't imagine the unobjectifiability. Don't imagine the silence. Silence is your being. You are being silent. You are being silence. Saha yaha yeshaha anima. This is very subtle. Aitad atmyam. This is the actuality of the entire creation. The entire universe can be reduced to this sat alone. Just as the snake can be reduced to the rope, the mirage can be reduced to sand, the wave can be reduced to water. In that manner, the entire universe can be reduced to your presence, your being, your presence. Your presence cannot have any disturbance. Your presence is never lost. You don't slip into the past, you don't slip into the future. You are ever present. Thought, you can have a thought about the future, you can have a thought about the past, and you are aware of that thought. And that thought is located in awareness. It's not parallel to you, it appears in you, and therefore it is reducible to you. And therefore you continue to be all comprehensive as yourself. And you are comprehensive and you are not qualified with it. Everything is in you and nothing is in you. Everything is in you. Everything is in consciousness. Nothing characterizes consciousness. Nothing characterizes consciousness. It is this that is Bhagavan says, everything is in me, nothing is in me. And people get very they are struck with wonder. So how is it possible that everything is in him and nothing is in him? It is easy to understand. An error is in the fact, is about the fact, and it doesn't qualify the fact. There is nothing wrong in your understanding it. There is nothing great, Jay. It is very simple. An error, and when you contrast the error with the fact, the error cannot exist without presupposing the fact. You can't have erroneous perception of nothingness. You can only have erroneous perception of a fact, what is there. Unless there is rope, you cannot mistake it to be the snake. Therefore, the snake mistake is about the rope. Therefore, it presupposes the rope, and but yet it cannot qualify the rope. In that manner, the source of the universe can say, everything is in me. Every person can say, everything is in the consciousness, and that consciousness is me, and everything is in me, and nothing is in me. The embodiment is in me, and nothing is in me. The waking state is in me, and nothing is in me. The dream state is in me, it is perceived in me, and nothing is in me. In this manner, their absence is felt in me, and it's nothing is in me. I am only being nirvisesham. In this manner, this has to be, and therefore it's very subtle. Saha yeshaha yeshaha anima aitadatmam idagam sarvam. This is the actuality of the whole universe. Sa atma, and that is the self. That is the swarupa. That is the actuality, means that is the swarupa. Tatu tvamasi. Tat sarvam. Tat satyam. That is the truth. Sa Atma. This whole universe, the actuality of the whole universe is this being, and that is the truth, and that is the actuality, and that is yourself. Swetaketo iti. Then Swetaketu again said, Bhuyevama Bhagavan Vijnapayatu iti. Please teach me again more, because this is exactly what is to be thought about. Every human being is in need of self-knowledge. The fundamental need is only self-understanding, because every wave is in need of understanding that it is water. Until it feels until it understands that it is what it is being water, it feels thirsty. Similarly, everybody, until one understands that one is being the all comprehensive being, and the fullness is not outside, you can't extract fullness or happiness from the world. The source cannot extract happiness from the world. Consciousness cannot extract happiness from the world. Consciousness has to recognize its fullness. And consciousness identified with the form looks like a subject, but otherwise it is conscious, solely consciousness. The soul conscious being has to recognize its fullness, and therefore Tattvamasi. And therefore, if there is something to be understood, if there is any need to understand, the only need to understand is one's own being. Everything else is, I run for this and I run for that. As long as I remain in ignorance of my actuality, I crave for many things. Craving presupposes self-ignorance. Struggle presupposes self-ignorance. And every hunger and thirst also presuppose self-ignorance. And therefore, even hunger and thirst can be transcended. When you are in sleep, you transcend the body, and therefore you transcend the features of the body. Hunger is a feature of the body, thirst is a feature of the body, it is a biological feature. And when you transcend biology, you transcend also the hunger and thirst. You transcend your caste, you transcend your creed, you transcend your nationality. Anything that can be transcended is false. The one who transcends is the truth. Anything that is transcendable is false. You remember this particular definition. Anything that is transcendable, anything that you can be without, is false. In the deep sleep state, you transcend everything except yourself. The transcender cannot be transcended. The timeless cannot be transcended. When you feel you are in time, you have not transcended the timelessness. The time is appearing in the timeless. When just as the wave cannot replace water, time cannot replace timelessness. It appears in the timeless. It appears in the conscious being, which is free from time. And therefore, he says, if there is something there is something worth understanding, it is only one's own being. Bhagavan Vijnapayati. Tata Saumyati Homacha. Then the father said, all right, I will teach you again. And I will give another example. And that example, perhaps, you have to, every example is only nothing but conveying the truth. The self only conveys, because it is evident, but it is not understood. Like science, what is sense evident, you go about understanding. A scientist goes about understanding what is sense evident. Vedanta goes about talking about what is self evident. The scientists go about knowing the sense evident world, and the Vedanta talks about the self evident subject. And the subject is conscious, and the object is inert. And the inert appears in the conscious being. And it is the same it's the very source, it's the very location, it's the very locus of the object, looks at the object. And when it looks at the object, it is called the subject. And that is why it is said, Tat Srishtva Tadeva Anupravishat. It is said, the Shruti says, Having created the world, the truth itself enters the world through the senses as the subject, as the seer of the world. And therefore, I will teach you again. I will give you another example. That example perhaps will help you to understand the truth. Every example is equally useful, is equally potent, is equally effective, is equally relevant. That is the word that I was looking for. Every example is equally relevant. It is not that this example is not relevant, therefore he is going to give another example. This is called abhyasa, repetition. You repeatedly refer to the same truth because man has not been thinking about his existence. He has always been thinking about the world. He has always been thinking about the objects of the world. And therefore, his mind has to be brought back to his existence. His existence is undoubtable. His being conscious is undoubtable, and and the consciousness being and his being and his being consciousness and the consciousness being at once comprehensive of everything as itself is undoubtable. And what is undoubtable is only pointed out by the Shruti. Shruti is a pramanam by way of pointing out what is evident. Not that after knowledge the truth becomes evident. It is all stupid thing to understand. It is not that. After understanding the earth as round, it doesn't become round. After understanding the sun, the earth that goes round the sun, it doesn't mean it goes round the sun after I understand. Evidence doesn't follow the understanding. I understand what is evident. Not that understanding makes the fact evident, please. That is wrong. What is evident, either sense evident or self-evident, I go about understanding it. All understanding is based upon evidence. Heaven is not evident. You can't understand it. You can only believe it or not believe it, disbelieve it. But you can't understand because it's not evident. Therefore, that you are Brahman is already evident. And that is that evident fact is only pointed out by the Shruti. As a pointer of the truth, it is a pramanam. It is not that really without studying Vedanta you are not there. The truth is evident. True, you are there. Even without coming to Vedanta, you are very much there. The truth is very much there. Consciousness is very much there. Consciousness is another word for knowledge. The whole universe is your knowledge. And it looks like an object of knowledge. It is nothing but knowledge. Similarly, it is nothing but consciousness, looks like an object of consciousness. That is the Bhranti, that is how the error appears. And the more of it we will see, Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, Ji.